Hi everyone, it's me, Darlene, jumping in before I go visit Joe in the hospital to tell you what's been going on. I think you might have known that both Joe and I were kind of sick. I don't know. I don't know if I said it in a video or not. I've got my usual thing that happens like every few months. Hang on. Scam likely. Had to have a fucking jump scare. I have that usual thing that I get where it doesn't really knock me out, but it starts like a little bit sore throat, some sneezing, and then coughing, and then usually really severe ear congestion. The ears are okay so far, and I thought I was on the mend. I was on the mend, but then last night it was awful. I was breathing, even just regular normal breathing was all making noise, but I woke up with the noise gone. So I don't know. I don't like to go to doctors. I think they're pretty much useless sometimes, and especially in Joe's case. We both started getting sick a week ago Thursday. And speaking of Thursday, a week ago Thursday, I listed 25 eBay auctions for my 25th anniversary with eBay. And those are ending tonight because it's Thursday. So this is February 27, 2025. If you're watching in the future, too late. But if you're watching right now and you're interested in the auctions, 25 auctions, they all started at a penny. You can go check them out. I'll have the link in the description of this video. You can always find my eBay link on my blog, darlenemisho.com. And they start ending at 7 p.m. Central Time. So, 5 Pacific, 6 Mountain, 8 Eastern. I think I said that right. Don't trust me. My head is fucked up. Alright, so we both started to get sick on Thursday. We did not go out during the weekend. I think we had plans possibly for Friday. I can't remember, but we didn't go. We were sick. And Saturday, we were sick. Sunday, sick. Monday, I told Joe we need to go to at least urgent care. Now, we knew he had an appointment with his primary care on Tuesday. But I thought, why don't we go just to urgent care? They can at least test you, see what's going on. And so we did that. And it was early in the morning. It didn't take too long. But she sent him home with a prescription for cough medicine, an expectorant, polytussin DM, and a thing for a prednisone pack. And I knew steroids would probably not sit well with him, especially as a diabetic. And I said to him, do you want to wait until we see your primary care tomorrow before starting prednisone? And he said yes. And I said, okay, good. So we didn't bother with the prednisone at that time, and he did start taking what I consider useless medicine. I know it's an expectorant. It probably breaks things up, but I don't know. Drink some hot fucking tea. That breaks it up too, I think. So I'm just not into all the med stuff. That night, the night before his urgent care, he fell, and a pretty hard fall right into the corner of a wall, full back into that, and slid down. I felt so bad. I was asleep, and he didn't wake me to help him, as his balance is terrible, especially when he's sick. And then a lot of vomiting. And so that's why we were like, let's go to urgent care and see what's going on. But he tested negative for COVID, for strep, for flu, and no pneumonia. They did x-rays. And so they said it's just bronchitis. And sent us home. The next day we go to his primary care, and he was still feeling like shit. The night before that one, I don't think was as bad. Oh, but his hallucinations were off the wall. Not necessarily funny things. And I was really like starting to get worried. He was having whole conversations with people that were not there and insisted that there was somebody standing behind our fan that's on a little TV tray in the corner. And I actually went behind that and put my hand, behind the fan. I'm like, here, do you still see him? He's like, yeah, he's right there. And his eyes are open. He's talking to me. It wasn't the same as like when he's dreaming. It's like he was awake and actually seeing stuff. And big conversations. And one time he's talking kind of loud, and I'm in my back room, and I come to the living room because our bed is in the living room because I have my 2 bedrooms as workspaces. And he's aiming to the sliding glass door, which is closed. All the blinds are shut. And he's like, open the truck door. Open the truck door. He's like, why won't you just open the truck door? And it was just like a lot of talking. And one time I thought he was on the phone with someone. And I was like, who are you talking to? And he had no phone to his ear. And he was just having a long conversation with a couple of his buddies. I go with him to his primary care. I explain to the doctor the stuff that I witnessed and that we had gone to urgent care. And we left urgent care with not one piece of paperwork. They're like, can we see the report? Or what? I'm like, oh my God, they never gave us anything. And I didn't even think of it. There's too much to think of. And when you're sick, you don't feel like thinking about it. And me being sick too, my head isn't really on straight. Never really is, but you know what I mean. And I told this primary care, she's a nurse practitioner, about the prednisone and the cough syrup. And she said the cough syrup that's fine, he can take it. It's like $16 for a little bottle of cough syrup. It's so dumb. And then she said, he can also take the prednisone. And she said, but I will explain to you. She's like telling me specifically because she knows I'm going to be the one maybe checking his blood and all that stuff, especially if his sugar goes high and he doesn't really know what he's saying. And she said his sugar will probably go sky high on this. Just have him take or give him his usual amount of insulin and then just keep watching it. And I said, okay. So I figured I had the go-ahead from her. She knows him pretty well, and she's very familiar with his diabetes and the fact that it's brittle and is all over the place. We go home. And he starts the prednisone, and it was just an okay night. I don't know if he had eaten. He couldn't keep anything down, really, but he just didn't feel good. He was like, oh, my head and all that stuff. And he kept saying, I know my sugar's got to be still sky high. So I kept testing him, and it was. It was in the high 300s, high 400s. He has that often, and we can usually bring it down with his insulin. But we could not bring it down. But he said, let me at least sleep the night. He said, I just took another shot. So he woke up a couple times and all that. I wake up at 5. He was awake, but he fell back to sleep. And I said, okay, this is good. He can rest. I'm going to do some stuff, do some work. And then when he woke up, he said, I don't feel good at all. And I said, let me check your sugar. And it was high. Now it says high. So that means it's 600 or more. And I said, insulin. We did the insulin. We checked him like every hour for like 3 or 4 hours, and it was still reading high, which is critically high. And so I said, I have to call an ambulance. And we did. And they took him. And they kind of seemed a little upset that that I was asking them questions about his bronchitis, because still at that point, I'm thinking it's the bronchitis. We have to fix the bronchitis. He's got to be off prednisone. Maybe they can put him on an antibiotic, something, because he had no antibiotic. And so I'm asking them, they're like, we're not even concerned about his bronchitis. And I said, what? He said, he is critically high, dangerous. We need to get his sugars down. He says, and that's all we're concerned with right now. And I was like, I know it must be the prednisone. He's like, prednisone. And I said, yeah, given by this and this. And he said, yeah, that'll do it. And I said, but the doctor told me, I always just say doctor, that, just give him his insulin as usual and keep an eye on it. I said, so I kept an eye on it, and now we're here. I just felt like I had failed miserably at taking care of him and that he could have died right here in the apartment. So they couldn't get him stable yesterday. He has 3 IVs of different things. I don't know. He's just a hot mess right now. But I went to see him last night. I was with him in the morning when we went there. He took an ambulance. I could have brought him, but because I wasn't scared about the diabetes. I thought, okay, I'm expecting this, but let's go, because I don't know how much insulin is too much insulin. But Joe said, no, I need an ambulance because then I won't have to wait to get into a room. And I said, okay, so we'll do that. And so I stayed with him and felt foolish in front of the people working on him. And then I came home and I tried to do some stuff. Oh yeah, I had stuff to do. I had stuff to do online via Zoom, which I'm not even able to talk about, but it is incredibly stressful. It has been stressful for quite a while, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to talk about it. But I had to be dealing with all of that and hearing how close Joe could have been to death because it was prolonged. And then I did some homework, and that vomiting was all to do with the high glucose, and certainly the hallucinations, the confusion, all that chatter. See, I'm not really aware of that because I haven't gone through that with him yet. We're always able to get the sugar down. Couldn't this time. And I'm sure it's because the prednisone was keeping it up there. So I have to try to just be okay with everything that happened, because I can't burn bridges with these doctors and things, because we need them, even though I feel like we didn't get the best advice. He, to me, should have been hospitalized after his primary care because of his diabetes. She should not have sent us home and said, take the prednisone that you were given by someone that we don't even know, and it'll all be okay. She should have said, it could go really high. I'd feel more comfortable if he's in the hospital and they'll regulate him or keep him stable or whatever, I was scared. And then I had that bullshit in the afternoon. Then I went and spent the evening with him, and I brought my crochet. I couldn't crochet. I was so mega stressed out, drained completely. So I just sat and watched TV with him, and we held hands, and it was nice. And I would have gotten in bed with him, because I don't know if you guys remember in Arkansas, when we first started seeing each other, he ended up in the hospital, and he's like, just get in bed with me, nobody will care. And I did. I mean, not like undressed and all that stuff, but I just laid down on the bed next to him, and we watched TV, and that was kind of fun. But I said, I don't feel comfortable laying in bed with you in this hospital. I don't know, it just felt weird. But I stayed with him, and then I came home, and I had the hardest time to sleep without him next to me. Rocket was beside himself because he didn't have Joe, and I still came in here in my office to do some work, and so Rocket didn't have Joe to lay on the bed with, so he stayed here, and he just was, he was, I could tell he just was not happy that Joe wasn't here, and confused, and at least he was okay when I went to bed. He knew somebody was in bed. But had Joe been here, he would have been with Joe the whole evening. And now I decided I'm going to record this. I'm getting ready to go see him. I have to be back. I want to be back before 7. So I'll be here when the auctions start ending, and I can start printing the invoices. And I know there'll be some people who won multiple items, so I can sort those and just start to get it ready so I can go to the post office tomorrow. We know Joe's not coming home today. They said it could be 3 or 4 days. So, I don't know. I have a feeling, though, once he's stable, they'll just kick him right out of there. He hasn't eaten for a long time, for days. Like at least 3 or 4 days he hasn't eaten, or whatever he ate, he threw up. Other than that, he's in pretty good spirits. He is coughing really, really bad. I was, but right now I'm doing a little bit better, but he is really coughing. I mean, he can not say 2 words without just about choking. So I worry about that. Is there anything else I want to say? Oh yeah, so I'm going to go pay my registration for my car. It's like $39. In Maine, it's so high. It was always like almost $200 a year, even for an old used car. $39, and then I'm going to go to the hospital and be with him. Oh yeah, so last night I brought my crochet and I didn't crochet. Today I'm going to bring my crochet. I hope I can crochet a little bit, just sit with him. It's a nice room. There's a nice comfy chair for me, and there's a couch if I wanted to lay down. I guess even could spend the night if I wanted to. They're pretty flexible, and he is in ICU, so there's that. Nice hospital so far. I have no complaints. The 2 nurses I met were really, really nice. I liked them. And so I'm going to go do that. I'm going to come back and be here for the auctions. I want to be early enough so that I can take Rocket out, and then I'll take him out again just before I go to bed. Stress, a lot of stress. And he hasn't been in counseling all last week and not this week. Last week we went on his usual. He goes Mondays and Thursdays. Monday they said, oh, you didn't get the notice. It didn't go out. We had to cancel today. I was like, all right. So we went home. Thursday he was sick. That was his first day he was sick. Monday he was sick. And now today's Thursday, and I had to call them last night and say he has to cancel again. So 2 whole weeks. I hope they don't like take him off the schedule, because we like his Monday, Thursday at 1. I guess that's all I've got. And right now my throat hurts a little bit. I'm not interested in knowing if I have strep or COVID. I mean, if I get like really bad, I know what really bad feels like. I'll be all right. I've certainly been worse than this and made it through. You guys, I'm tired. I'm going to hit the road now and get some stuff done. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.